In life, we need friends, and birds of a feather flock together. Some of our friends might have superior talents than we have, and that's why we are attracted to them. We want to improve ourselves. I remember my neighbor, he used to write, he was a 9-year-old boy, I was 7 years old. He used to write his name on the football, United States football, and baseballs, on his baseball cap, everywhere he used to write his name. And what I've heard from another relative of mine is that this young man has become the number 2 man in the Chicago Transit Authority. He was an action person. He would not sit still. He was constantly learning. For instance, when I started working at the pizzeria, he started working there. I was making $2.50 an hour, and I was taking the pizzas out of the oven and washing dishes. On his break, he was learning to make pizzas. Eventually, he was one of the main people there, and he was at $6 an hour. Now the grown men, were at $9 an hour. So that tells you how much initiative he had. He was eager to learn some things that didn't interest me, like cooking pizzas. At 9 o'clock at night, I wanted to be home, and I didn't see any point in working because I was sleepy at 10 o'clock. And then at 12 o'clock, I was really tired. And then at 1 o'clock, I finally got to go home. And the money, I used to give it to my mother, $30. I used to buy several sodas. They were 40 cents each, I think. That was $2 worth. So I used to get $28 and give it to my mother. And therefore, parents, if you're listening, if you take your children's money, eventually they learn that their money will be taken away. My grandfather told me directly that sooner or later, everything you have will be taken away from you. He mentioned this, that he couldn't drive, he couldn't see, so he couldn't drive. He could see, but he couldn't see well enough to drive. So everything is temporary at this moment in time for humans. Write your name on things and notice that God has placed them on your lap or the books that you have received. And if you don't find anything useful out of those books or possessions that you have, pass them on to someone else. Take a photo of it if you want to and pass it on. There is a Dead Sea that I heard about. And in this Dead Sea, the reason it's called dead is because I read in one book that it has an entrance for water to arrive, but there is no exit. So water does not leave. And we need to be like a river constantly flowing, or the water cycle, up to the clouds, back down to rain, back down to the river. For instance, my grandfather's house, he doesn't have it anymore. He's dead and he sold it before that happened. So that was temporary. Everything is temporary. Don't be attached to things. My Tai Chi teacher, he was a Chinese man, he was not even attached to people. He was always poised. Back then, I used to see it as indifferent. He had no favorites as far as students. However, that actually was beneficial, because this way no one becomes jealous that we are, or that I am, my teacher's favorite student, and so on. You must be poised. Alright, talk to you in the next video. Poised means that you can persuade other people by being with a serious face, no laughing. You don't laugh at jokes. It's, in one way, you're eliminating the joy out of life, but in another way, you will be able to endure. What you gain is that you'll be able to endure when you are under heavy stress or a big trial, like when you get locked up. When you get locked up, your life changes. When you get released, you're not the same. You value your time more. And as one tenant told me, he said, I could go across the street and fight this guy, but if I did that, the law says that I will go to jail, because there's no proof that that guy came over here first. Yes, he came over here, he did something, and then if I chase him, the police lock my tenant up, or my ex-tenant. The laws are different in the United States. Be careful. Hang out with the Jehovah's Witnesses. After they go preaching on Saturdays, they go to restaurants. They also go to each other's houses. They know each other's names. They have been a good group of people for me to hang out with, because the old men, not the young ones, well, even the young ones, some a little bit, but the old ones are poised. Poised means powerful. Poised is like Gandhi. Poised is also that you're able to persuade other people. I'm still approachable though, because children, they say, Daniel, and I say, yes, but at the same time, when that child doesn't want to hold my hand when we're walking out on the sidewalk, I grab the back of his shirt. Then he says, okay. Children need limits. Love and limits. Go read the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, by Robert Kiyosaki. See you in the next video.